Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at the best boss fight from every God of War game.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at all the games in this long-running hack-and-slash series to pick out the best boss fights that were a perfect blend of challenging gameplay aspects and feature impressive storytelling quality. This includes the handheld and mobile game entries as well. Which God of War boss do you think was a class above the rest? Let us know down in the comments. Ares, God of War.
You are still just a mortal. Every bit as weak as the day you begged me to save your life.
Although the lack of boss fights in the game make this an obvious choice, it also ties in very well with the narrative. Having finally empowered himself through Pandora's box, Kratos goes toe-to-toe with Ares to avenge his family. The extended runtime of the battle highlights its climactic feel, with Ares pulling several moves out of his godly nature to give players a fight to remember. The spikes protruding from his back give Ares incredible range to his attacks, while every offensive maneuver carries heavy damage with it. The second half of this battle is even more challenging, with Ares allowing little time for players to block or dodge his moves. Of course, this makes it all the more satisfying once Ares is defeated, as watching Kratos triumph carries a real sense of catharsis.
Kratos had done the impossible. A mortal defeating a god. Ares was no more.
The Sisters of Fate, God of War 2.
There is no power greater than the Sisters of Fate. If you challenge us, you will die.
This fight is Kratos' final hurdle in his path to facing Zeus, and the sisters put up a true last stand. With multiple levels to this battle, we start out by fighting Lahkesis, requiring players to be as agile as they can to dodge her moves and initiate a flurry of Kratos' own. Atropos' appearance ushers in the plot's relevance to the boss fight, as Kratos is taken back in time and has to ensure his past self isn't eliminated. This brings a real feeling of thrill and urgency, with the battle eventually involving both sisters at once. As the fight incorporates the elements of time-based powers as well, it's an overall multifaceted experience that keeps the pacing quick from start to finish. Syrinx, God of War Betrayal. This mobile game entry in the series doesn't allow much room for creativity, leaving the final boss out as its most memorable. Syrinx's advantage lies in the staff that allows him substantial range. Due to this, players will have to make Kratos avoid his attacks and rely on the blades of Athena to land similar damage on the enemy, although the presence of Cerberus beasts can make things a little tricky. This helps in the battle to be relatively more diverse, as fighting off the beast to get to Syrinx extends the battle considerably. All in all, Syrinx is a worthy final boss who brings the best challenge God of War Betrayal has to offer, while his status as Hermes' son sheds some light on why Hermes despises Kratos in God of War 3. Persephone and Atlas, God of War Chains of Olympus.
Witness the end.
Most of the bosses in this PSP game are relatively simple to tackle, but Persephone is in a league all her own. With the aid of her wings, Persephone routinely swoops in for attacks that we need to watch out for, while her tendency to constantly move around means landing a hit on her is difficult. Players having to use most of the weapons and magic Kratos has acquired during the game establishes just how hard-hitting this fight is. The battle also carries a level of intrigue in terms of plot progression, as Atlas's intervention and subsequent imprisonment comes into play in Kratos' story during God of War 2. The boss fight is unique in that it's an exhilarating experience in easier modes, while amping up its difficulty turns Persephone into an absolute beast to combat. Zeus, God of War 3.
Don't confuse this object, this construction of Hephaestus with your own flesh and blood.
The final fight in the Greek saga of the series doesn't disappoint, taking us inside Kratos' darkest demons while putting an end to Zeus once and for all. True to his status as the king of the gods, Zeus brings out every trick in the book, spamming his lightning-based attacks and delivering powerful hits that can severely drain the life bar. Adding to the entertainment value of this boss is the dynamic environment, switching from a fighting game perspective to incorporating Gaia in the background. As the final boss in the original series, we're taking into Kratos' conscience, culminating in him finally overcoming his guilt and allowing players to pummel Zeus as seen through the eyes of Kratos. All things considered, this battle is a genuine blend of drama and action that leads to the much-awaited series conclusion. Callisto, God of War, Ghost of Sparta.
Your father forbid me to tell
My father? Who is my father?
After meeting his mother once again, Kratos realizes he'll have to put her down when she transforms into a monster. While it appears as if Callisto is unfazed even by Kratos' power moves, the secret here is that the players are supposed to block and dodge her attacks before attempting offensive counters. Regardless, the sheer power that the monster brings is something to behold, especially during sequences where we're required to fight off her attempts to devour Kratos. The narrative quality presented here adds in particular intrigue in this battle, as it's tragically ironic that Kratos has to kill his own mother after searching for her for so long.
Finally, I am free.
Pollux and Castor, God of War Ascension.
My, quite persistent, isn't he?
His persistence only means his death.
Although this game presents a younger Kratos, he's by no means any less deadly. This boss fight has conjoined twins Pollux and Castor attempt to stop Kratos from accessing the Oracle of Delphi, culminating in a battle that destroys the temple itself. Bringing the complete God of War experience to the forefront, the boss fight has everything from a big chase sequence to melee combat and the use of strategy to take down Pollux and Castor. With the twins having control over time, the key to winning this battle is timing, as anticipating the boss's fight sequence is needed to understand where the next attack is coming from. The dynamic environment that progressively collapses is spectacular in that it keeps the fight going with a fast pace that ends in classic fashion as Kratos wins with authority. Baldur, God of War 2018.
This path you walk, vengeance, you will find no peace. I know.
With the 2018 reboot giving importance to its narrative over everything else, the final battle brings together all the conflict in the story for an all-out brawl. Having achieved in making Baldur vulnerable again, Kratos and Atreus have to contend with the intervention of Freya and the giant Thamor, who she controls. As with previous clashes, Baldur proves to be a rush of adrenaline, as the face-off against him includes his speed attacks and no selling of Kratos' offense. The constant interference of Freya makes this battle completely unpredictable, with the scene constantly evolving to newer challenges as Baldur amps up his moveset. This kind of larger-than-life presentation leaves no doubt that the game has reached its epic conclusion, as Kratos and Atreus' perfected fight formation shines through in the end.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.